The office stood silent. Envoy Adrian Rise paused in the doorway and looked at it one last time. The shelves were bare. Drawers hung open and empty. The framed images of Earth that once lined the walls were already sealed in a crate bound for a departing vessel. Only one object remained on the desk. A lone data slate glowing softly in the dim light. On its screen was a single word, enough. Adrian did not look back as he stepped into the corridor. His footsteps echoed across polished stone. The neighboring offices were dark, their lights extinguishing one by one down the human wing of the stellar assembly like distant stars slipping beyond the horizon. No one stopped him. No one seemed to notice. That was the strange truth about humanity's 2 centuries among the stars. They had healed worlds, strengthened empires, and defended borders, but most species still passed them by without a second thought. That was about to change. At the docking platform, a shuttle waited in silence. Lieutenant Mira Sen stood at the hatch, posture rigid, eyes red but steady. "All personnel accounted for, sir," she said. "Every human mission has confirmed closure. We're the last to depart." Adrian nodded once and boarded, the hatch sealed, engines hummed. Meridian Prime fell away beneath them without ceremony, no farewell, no accusation, only widening silence. It hadn't begun this way. 2 centuries earlier, humanity had entered the galactic stage with hope blazing in every transmission. The stellar assembly, ancient, powerful, spanning hundreds of civilizations, welcomed them as Tier 7 provisional. The lowest rank, temporary, they were told. Advancement would come through merit, so humanity gave. They shared medical breakthroughs that adapted across alien biologies. Diseases that had plagued entire species for millennia vanished within decades. They redesigned the faster-than-light relay grid, strengthening trade and communication across 1,000 systems. They volunteered soldiers and diplomats to calm border wars and broker peace where ancient rivalries festered. In return, they asked for one thing: a permanent seat, voting rights. Recognition as equals. 11 times the proposal came to a vote. 11 times it failed. The Valori called them too short-lived to possess enduring wisdom. The Kreth dismissed them as emotional and fragile. Decades passed. Generations turned over. Humanity continued to serve. The breaking point came at Urandor's Reach, a thriving human colony near the frontier. 3 million lives. When the Cyrix marauders descended without warning, humanity followed every protocol and petitioned the Assembly for joint defense. Adrian Rise stood before the chamber and spoke calmly. 3 million citizens are under siege. We request assistance not as supplicants but as members who have stood beside you. The Valori abstained. The Kreth opposed. Smaller powers fell in line. The resolution failed. Humanity fought alone. 9 days of brutal warfare. The marauders were driven back, but 40,000 civilians lay dead. Cities burned to ash. The Assembly offered condolences. 3 sentences, read by a junior official. Adrian listened in silence. When he opened his eyes, something inside them had cooled into something patient and unyielding. In the weeks that followed, Terran cargo ships stopped arriving. Medical teams withdrew. Technicians quietly dismantled equipment from relay hubs. Peacekeeping officers resigned with courteous smiles. Then, in a single synchronized moment, every Terran embassy across assembly space powered down. Lights out, doors sealed. Communications silent, no threat, no fury, only absence. At first, the assembly scoffed. Let them wander, some said. They will return, they need us. 6 months later, the first hospital ran out of medicine. A virulent sickness swept across the Sarathi homeworld. The only effective treatment, Helioxin 9, had been developed by Terrans. No one else understood its synthesis. 12,000 died in a month. Appeals to contact humanity were defeated. Soon after, a major relay node failed. Travel that once took hours stretched into weeks. Trade faltered. Food shipments stalled. More relays flickered and died. Engineers studied Terran designs but could not replicate them. The knowledge gap was too vast. Then the frontier began to burn. With Terran officers gone, the unified security fleets fractured. Species argued over command. Pride replaced coordination. The Reaver Dominion struck 3 settlements in a single week. At the Battle of the Vyerk's Expanse, 10,000 assembly ships gathered against the Reavers. 6 hours later, 7,000 drifted as wreckage. Without human tacticians to bind them together, they were a banner without unity. The collapse wasn't sudden. It was structural. A beam removed here. a support withdrawn there. The galaxy began to tilt, even the translation grid, humanity's adaptive linguistic network started to decay. A mistranslation turned mutual passage into total capitulation. Fleets mobilized over a single corrupted phrase. Famine followed failed harvests on worlds once stabilized by Terran agronomists. Entire sectors starved while relief shipments crawled through broken corridors. 2 years after humanity's departure, the Assembly finally authorized a quiet reconnaissance mission. An Elendry intelligence operative named Lyrene traced humanity's former worlds. Everyone was empty but immaculate, not abandoned in panic, carefully vacated. As though an entire civilization had risen from the table and left the room in perfect order. She followed faint signals beyond the galactic rim into a region once labeled barren. It was anything but energy readings bloomed ahead, radio pulses, thermal signatures, unmistakable signs of expansion. Not survival, growth, humanity had not fled into darkness. They had prepared for decades. They had built something new. 3 years after their departure, the Assembly did something unprecedented. It voted to apologize. A diplomatic delegation was sent beyond the rim. They passed navigational beacons openly broadcasting their presence. They encountered stable artificial wormholes, technology once deemed impossible. Beyond them lay systems that defied comprehension. 7 thriving planets orbiting a single star. Cities woven with living architecture and green corridors. Orbital habitats shimmering like moons. Ships moving with quiet confidence. A human patrol intercepted them and opened a channel. "Welcome to the Terran Union," the officer said calmly. "We've been expecting you." On Aurora Prime, Chancellor Miriam Adami received them with composed warmth. "We did not leave because of one incident," she explained. "We left because we realized equality would never be granted. If we stayed, we would be consumed, our knowledge taken, our labor used, our sacrifices forgotten." Her voice held no anger. "We valued ourselves enough to stop allowing others to undervalue us." Humanity debated the Assembly's offer publicly for 19 days. Some urged return, others refused. In the end, they chose a third path. They would not rejoin the Council. But they would not abandon the galaxy either. The Accord of Equal Alliance was born. Humanity would partner directly with any species willing to meet as equals. Trade, medicine, research, defense, without hierarchy, without provisional status, without begging for representation. Before the envoy departed, Adami handed her a crystal containing relay designs, advanced medicines, agricultural models, everything the Assembly needed to stabilize itself. "We were never the ones who hoarded understanding," she said. Back in the Assembly chamber, the envoy delivered the message. Humanity would not return. Silence fell, not of outrage, but recognition. Then she lifted the crystal, its surface catching the chamber lights like a captured star. "They are offering us more mercy than we earned," she said. An elder counselor stepped forward and held up Adrian Rise's abandoned slate. "Enough. We drove away the finest civilization this galaxy has known," she admitted. "Not through war, through indifference." The chamber erupted, not in denial but in reckoning. Months later, alien delegates walked the paths of a grove on Aurora Prime, 40,000 trees, one for every life lost at Urandor's reach. Children of different worlds played between them, laughing, unaware of the weight those trees carried. "We never wished to stand alone." Adami said softly to the envoy beside her. "We only needed to be seen." Above them, the stars shone over a galaxy learning slowly and painfully to listen. For centuries, it had spoken over humanity's voice. It took their silence for the galaxy to finally hear them.
Thanks for watching. If this journey through the unknown sparked and imaginations, share your thought in the comment below. Until your next adventures behind the stars. Thank you so much.